Perfidia scouts the Otay Mesa Detention Center from the border wall. She and militants, including nervous demolitions expert Pat, plan a midnight raid. The truck fits 160 of 250 prisoners. Women and children first, the rest must run. Pat loads explosives. Perfidia orders a sound and light diversion. This is meant to be spectacle and statement. They scale the wall, stealthily neutralize guards, and seize Captain Lockjaw. Perfidia introduces herself coldly as Perfidia Beverly Hills, binds him, and announces a revolution over the radio with the code phrase, "Snap, crackle, pop, baby." Her crew frees detainees while a member rouses them with a fiery speech. The team escapes amid celebratory gunfire. Back at base, Pat assembles bombs. Perfidia phones Senator Wilson to claim responsibility for an explosive strike. Buildings blow up. A power tower is destroyed, plunging the city into darkness. Next, synchronized bombs at an administration building in the courthouse, set to detonate at 7 p.m. While planting devices in courthouse restrooms, Perfidia is confronted by Captain Lockjaw, who has been secretly stalking her. Despite his racist views, he is unable to resist her body, and obsession drives his pursuit. He demands his hat and gun back, gives her an ultimatum to meet him at 11 p.m., and kisses her before vanishing. The sequence closes in a dim hotel room, Perfidia with a handgun in hand for foreplay, as she and Lockjaw have sex in secret, without Pat's knowledge. Perfidia, heavily pregnant and reckless, trains with her crew by unloading a machine gun in a field. Around the campfire, they joke about violence while Pat looks on uneasily, convinced the baby is his. A flashback shows Pat with Perfidia's mother and grandmother who insist he's not right for her. After the birth, Perfidia grows resentful, claiming she feels invisible and unloved. She mocks Pat as weak, refuses to be his milk machine, and abandons him and their child. Pat struggles with single fatherhood until Captain Lockjaw confronts him in a supermarket, spewing racist remarks about the baby. Meanwhile, Perfidia joins militant leader Jungle Pussy in a bank heist. Their escape ends in a pileup and police chase. Perfidia is captured, wheeled through a police station as officers cheer. She defiantly flips them off. Bruised in a hospital bed, she's visited by Lockjaw, who demands loyalty for protection. Perfidia agrees to become a federal informant. Pat meets a tech expert who gives him 2 radio scanners that play a melody when close, symbols of trust. He also provides stolen identities for Pat and Perfidia. Pat must plant decoys in Denver before heading to Backtown Cross. He takes his daughter with him, changing their identities, heartbroken but resolved. Meanwhile, Perfidia is relocated to a suburban home under government orders. Alone, she reflects, every revolution begins fighting demons, and then motherfuckers just end up fighting themselves. Perfidia signs her witness protection papers, but scrawls a defiant message on one, a ghost in her beige suburban prison. On TV, she watches Lockjaw celebrated with a medal for bringing down the French 75. When Jack shows up at her door with a gift, she doesn't answer. He drops it, then returns with a tool to force the door open, only to discover she's already escaped, never to be seen again. 16 years later, Pat and Perfidia's daughter, Willa, is a disciplined teenager training in karate. Pat, older and worn from years of hiding, watches proudly from the sidelines. At a parent-teacher conference, he breaks down when the teacher praises Willa, lying that her mother died young. The wound of Perfidia's absence never healed. Meanwhile, the world has hardened. Temporary camps are now militarized detention centers overseen by an aging Colonel Lockjaw. Summoned to a meeting, he's escorted by Jack, now calling himself Virgil Throckmorton, into an opulent chamber where the secretive Christmas Adventurers Club gathers. The elite cabal preaches racial purification and ruling above the law. They grill Lockjaw with chilling questions about race and loyalty. He answers without hesitation, proving himself aligned with their twisted creed and submits to their initiation. Later, Jack appears shaken as he enters a grand ballroom filled with the nation's elite. Across town, the tech specialist who once helped Pat quietly writes a manifesto in a diner about real revolution. His peace is shattered when masked men abduct him into an unmarked police car. 2 boys witness it from a porch. One rushes to a hidden ham radio and sends a coded alert, calling all sanctuary stations. Billy the Kid has flown the coop. The coded message is received, and the captured tech expert is handed to military police. In interrogation, he's pressed for the location of Pat, better known as Rocket Man, and his daughter, Willa Charlene. Threatened with harm to his sister, he finally gives up Backtown Cross. Colonel Lockjaw receives the intel and launches Operation Boot Heel. Orders are clear: kill Rocket Man, capture Willa. Military and local law enforcement mobilize, turning the entire town into a target. At home, Pat and Willa clash over his drinking and her independence. He forces her to carry one of the trust device scanners before letting her go to the school dance, threatening her date's family if anything happens to her. At the dance, Willa wanted to use the restroom. In the bathroom, a mysterious woman rushes in, claiming to know her parents and urging her to escape. Meanwhile, Pat gets a coded call. The tech has been captured, and the hammer. Lockjaw is en route to Backtown Cross. Realizing his nemesis is closing in, he panics when he remembers Willa is out. The caller tries to confirm his identity, asking the old French 75 countersign, "What time is it?" But it's been years since he left the group, and Pat can't remember the answer. Moments later, Colonel Lockjaw leads tactical teams storming Pat's hidden home. But Pat, prepared for the worst, slips into a secret underground passage beneath the house and narrowly escapes. Pat flees through the woods and emerges at a junkyard, a hidden base for his resistance cell. Disheveled and still reeling, he moves through the city disguised as a drifter. He tries contacting his allies by payphone, but fails the old code and gets cut off. Lockjaw's raids sweep the city. Factories, shops, and blocks are stormed. Workers arrested. Chaos everywhere. Desperate, Pat finds his old friend Sergio at the Ninja Dojo. He warns him they're being hunted, borrows his phone, and together they navigate the streets. Pat confesses the truth. He and Willa's mother were part of the French 75. The military interrogates Willa's friends and discovers she's been hiding a phone. In the getaway van, Willa sits silently with Lady Champagne, warned about Lockjaw's deadly pursuit. She recalls what her father told her. Lockjaw killed her mother. Riots erupt outside, streets ablaze as Lockjaw commands troops to torch the city. One of Sergio's students leads them through a hidden market that doubles as Sergio's home, a secret sanctuary. Sergio directs families to safety, while Pat struggles to power up his scanner, preparing for the next move in the war zone. Inside the sanctuary, chaos reigns. Sergio organizes terrified families, telling them to grab supplies and prepare to move. Pat frantically calls his contacts, threatening them and forgetting protocols. Tali asks the bizarre security question, "What's my favorite kind of pussy?" Pat answers correctly, "Mexican hairless." With the code confirmed, Tali gives him the rendezvous point, the Sisters of the Brave Beaver compound. Tactical teams surround Pat's hideout. Sergio tells his family to hide, hands Pat a rifle, and orders him over the rooftops to an escape car. Pat wants to go with Sergio, but he insists he's needed elsewhere, saying, "Courage, friend," before leaving to create a diversion. Pat disappears into a hidden passage just as tactical teams storm the building. At the high school, Lockjaw interrogates Willa's friends. Bobo cracks under pressure and gives up Willa's phone number, allowing authorities to track the van. In the vehicle, Perfidia, furious at Willa for keeping a secret phone, throws it out, warning, "Never lie to me again." Riots rage in the city. Pat attempts to escape across rooftops but falls from a tree and is tased by police, leaving him unconscious. Sergio receives the news of Pat's capture and instructs his contact to retrieve Pat's rifle and meet at the Sacred Heart. Meanwhile, and Willa reach a remote, fortified convent, the Sisters of the Brave Beaver. Mother Superior Rochelle greets Willa, calling her "child of a rat." She studies Willa intently, warning that while she may not look like Perfidia, inside she is the same, a very great danger to us all. Inside the convent, Mother Superior Rochelle interrogates Willa. "Can you cook?" she asks, testing her worth. Willa confidently insists she can handle herself. Satisfied, Rochelle sends her to the Pancho Villa room. In private, Lady Champagne asks Willa about her mother. Willa calls her mother a hero, and Champagne tearfully reveals the truth. Her mother, Perfidia, had once betrayed the revolution during a bank heist 16 years ago to secure her freedom, a fact Pat never had the courage to tell her. Meanwhile, Virgil arrives at a lavish mansion via a secret tunnel to meet the Christmas Adventurers Club, the powerful cabal behind the chaos. They've tracked Lockjaw, who has a mixed-race child with Perfidia, and know he used a bounty hunter to locate Pat's tech contact, leading him to the sanctuary city and to Pat and Willa. Furious that Lockjaw's raids have disrupted a member's business, the club orders Virgil to clean it up, eliminate both Lockjaw and the child. Back at the convent, Willa trains on a firing range, demonstrating deadly accuracy. The Sisters of the Brave Beaver reveal themselves as a fully armed army. Pat, captured and disoriented, initially gives fake superhero names during interrogation. Realizing a coded lifeline from an ally, he feigns a medical emergency and is moved to a safe room. Following the instructions of an allied nurse, he escapes through a bathroom and fire exit. Sergio picks him up, and they race toward the convent. Lockjaw receives intel of a van with a white man and a black woman heading north, realizing Pat and Willa's location. The police attempt to stop them, but Sergio speeds up, allowing Pat to jump out and grab his rifle. He steals a car and rushes to the church to reunite with Willa. The final battle lines are drawn. Lockjaw and his heavily armed unit descend on the convent just as Pat arrives. The nuns emerge from the shadows, armed and ready. In the chaos, a lone soldier breaches the compound, grabs Willa, and holds her at gunpoint. Surrounded by 3 warring factions, Willa is now a hostage at the center of the storm. Willa is brought before Captain Lockjaw, who gestures for her to come closer as he scrutinizes her carefully. He pulls out a DNA test kit, determined to confirm if she is truly his daughter. Nearby, Lady Champagne is dragged forward for interrogation. They press her for Bob's location, but she swears she has no idea where he is. The tension between Willa and Lockjaw is palpable. Mutual disdain simmers beneath their exchange. Lockjaw secretly hopes the DNA test will be negative. After a few tense minutes, the results arrive. Willa is indeed his daughter. Rage consumes Lockjaw, his face twisted with fury. Lockjaw's immediate reaction is to get rid of her. He kidnaps Willa, but Bob, nearby, takes a shot at him from afar. He misses. Panicked, Lockjaw speeds off with Willa, while his men fire back at the direction of the shot. Bob jumps into his car and gives chase, desperate to save his daughter. Lockjaw takes Willa to his bounty hunter and orders him to eliminate her. The bounty hunter refuses, asserting that he does not harm children. Lockjaw attempts to persuade him, but the hunter remains resolute. Eventually, Lockjaw compromises, instructing the hunter to take her to a safe location, promising he will deal with her later. Reluctantly, and lured by the promise of a hefty payment, the bounty hunter follows orders. Meanwhile, Bob is stranded in the middle of the road, having lost track of Lockjaw. He questions passersby, who point him in the direction the car went. On his return trip, Lockjaw notices a vehicle tailing him. Slowing down to identify it, he realizes it's Virgil. Within seconds, Virgil fires, and Lockjaw's car crashes spectacularly. Focused on the crash, Bob fails to notice the bounty hunter driving past with Willa inside. Moments later, he reaches the wrecked vehicle and in a panic assumes his daughter has perished. To his relief and disbelief, only Lockjaw is in the car, apparently dead. The bounty hunter delivers Willa to the hideout as instructed. Yet, his conscience weighs heavily. She is just a minor. In a moment of courage, he lets her escape. A firefight erupts with Lockjaw's men. In the chaos, the bounty hunter kills the attackers, but Willa remains tied up. Using the hunter's keys, she drives away. Bob, now aware that Willa is alive, follows the road. From a distance, Willa spots Virgil on the road as well. Noticing someone tailing her, she strategically parks her car on the highway where Virgil cannot anticipate her move. Virgil crashes into her vehicle, injuring himself. From a distance, Willa communicates in code, asking who he is. Virgil fails to understand, confirming he is not an ally. Without hesitation, Willa fires multiple shots, killing him instantly. Finally, Bob arrives. Willa asks the same coded question, but he doesn't know it. Instead, he shouts from afar, "I'm your dad!" Willa sees him and instantly recognizes him. They reunite, embracing in relief. But Lockjaw is not dead. In the next scene, he is revealed bouncing from a distance, still alive. Lockjaw is later lured to the Christmas Adventurers Club, dressed impeccably but bearing the scars and deformities from his gunshot wounds. Believing he has been welcomed into the club, he is led to a luxurious office. One member excuses himself, claiming he forgot the keys, leaving Lockjaw alone. Slowly, a transparent gas fills the room. Majestic yet trapped, Lockjaw succumbs, and his lifeless body is eventually removed. In the final scenes, Willa reads a letter from her mother, Perfidia. In voiceover, her mother's words reveal her love, regrets, and hope that Willa will one day be safe and know the truth. She affectionately calls Pat my ghetto Pat and asks Willa, whose birth name is Charlene, to kiss him for her.